a situation where with a population of about 170 million thereabout, and JAM will conduct its exam with about 1.5 million registering for the exam. That's less than 10%. Less than 10, eh? Oh, 1%. That is just about 1%. Yes, the 1.5 million registering for JAM exam is just about 1% of our population. Then at the end of the day, only about 23% will pass. And that 23% will hover around 400,000 students. And do you know the sad thing? Even when that 23% passes JAM, having 5 credits, then you will go to the university, and the university will say they do not have space to admit your child. Your child will want to study a particular course, and they will say there is a quota system for that course. So at the end of the day, out of that 23% that is able to have 5 credits in JAM, you may not be able to get close to 50% of them gainfully admitted into university. So, what are we talking about? So, Mr. Jiboye, to the question, you are asked the source of the information, the source of the 1 billion to 7 billion. How did we arrive at, and how did you arrive at the recommendation of 5% to be spent on the health sector? And the other question, there are 3 questions. What is the pragmatic way to go? What is the right way to go? I think these are the 3 main questions from the audience.
Thank you, sir. I'll take the first 2, and I'll ask you to repeat the third one after I respond to the first 2. So, as a private citizen, and I had an undisclosed illness, and I was in admission outside this country for a period of time, you can figure out how much that is. Multiply that by the senior government officials who receive the same treatment, and you can find that 1 billion probably could not even be the right amount. You can just Google the figure, and you will see the data source. When we're talking of recommending 5% federal government budget for healthcare, the Ministry of Health, in its submission, in request for funding, it's always in excess of 5% of the budget, and they receive maybe 1 to 2%. So we're not going anywhere else to pick the figures. The ministry itself, as in its request for environment, is requesting in excess of 5%. But we're using a baseline based on where Nigeria is in the Committee of Nations and saying 5% should be devoted to healthcare. Now, back to the other question about a pragmatic way to move ahead. The first major thing we need to do and keep doing, which doesn't cost us too much, is capacity building. Capacity building is something we can embrace immediately. Another thing we can do immediately is scalable mHealth solutions. We all probably are aware of the ABIE initiative in Ondo State a few years back, where it was found out that pregnant mothers were not attending antenatal visits simply because there was no reminder to them. And we started sending them text alerts to remind them of the antenatal visits. And that maternal mortality rate in that state dropped by over 60%. Such a project should be replicated nationwide. What they did was they gave each of the pregnant women cell phones that they would use to receive the alerts. That's a practical, scalable mHealth application. We have our DHIS2 information system for communication of health data between ministries. That system is plagued with challenges consistently. We can build on the ICT infrastructure that we have at the moment to take such a system and make it more effective. So there are solutions that entrepreneurs in the house, there are young folks in the house, that can be built on ICT platforms that we can embrace immediately. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know, Dr. Delui, if you have anything to respond to.
I'll talk concerning the question on pragmatism. I think also we can take advantage of solutions that we can use right now, but I think I'm more focused on the training that we give from the secondary school up. I think if we can start integrating things like e-health, m-health in the training, it will help them such that when they get to the level of studying medicine, they're already prepared to delve into this type of field. I think that's what we can do. That's my suggestion.
I actually think that we need to look at the whole system and see how to make some necessary changes to our educational system. Today, people are talking about having a world-class university teaching hospital at Ado-Ekiti. I don't know if you've heard about that. Afe Babalola University. People are talking about it. Now, how is he able to do it in a matter of 7 years? How is he able to do it? Because a student in Afe Babalola pays on the average, 800,000 naira. In our federal university, what do we pay? 14,000 naira. I know for sure, it's not, I'm not guessing because I have 2 children that finish from Afe Babalola. Each year, I was paying on the average 2.4 million. One was studying law, one was studying accounting. And then my third daughter went to University of Benin and asked me to pay her fee. She graduated this year. And throughout the 5 years program, it was 14,000 naira a year. We need to change that. I know also we say no, but we need to change that and create some sort of competition among our universities. What will happen if we have to pay on the average 200,000 in the public universities? Somebody will shout and say, hey, it's too much. But how much do you pay in secondary school? A private secondary school that your children are going to, in a year, we pay on the average in a private secondary school about 600,000. Each term is about 200,000. Then when you get to university, it's 14,000 a year. Do you know what is creating? We are turning our vice chancellors to politicians coming to Abuja to beg for subvention and then go to House of Assembly to justify why their schools should be allocated money. But if we can allow them to be a little bit independent, then there will be changes, and that changes will affect a lot of places. Dr. Muma.
It's well spoken, Mr. Moderator. I think a lot of the responses or questions asked here, they point to or suggest possible existential threats to Nigeria's systems. So this may not be the forum to address many of those questions. But truth be told, I think we should start logically and simply. I like to take things systematically. Simple things work for me. Let us first take stock of the general ecosystem. Let us take stock of the hospitals in Nigeria. How many are they? Where are they? What's the level of advancement in technology-wise? Let's take a mapping of all this infrastructure nationwide. Let's start with that. Let's have that outlay, then do a mapping of our workforce as well. Over the next 18 months, we have that kind of information to work with. Then we can take it to the next level. Approach the policymakers, this is what we have. I think we can, like you said, a lot of these meetings, we have workshops, a lot of talk, we live here. The same things are discussed next year. Let us take small chunks that are doable, that are achievable. And then when we come and meet here again next year, you can hold me accountable for that little that I said I would do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I think for us to round up, let us have in 1 minute what you consider should be what should be included in the communique that will be issued at the end of this. 1 minute each for the panelists and the presenter. What you think should be included. Mr. Abioye, you started.
Thank you. In summary, a takeaway from most of what I have presented and discussed today, number one will be the Made in Nigeria Innovation Program, because this is a program that can work across all sectors of the economy. So the government should establish such a fund. The government that has required Made in Nigeria should be the first purchaser of those products. That is setting a leadership example. The second thing I would want to also emphasize is when it comes to funding. We need to begin to allow more deepened private sector involvement in healthcare in Nigeria. This will radically increase the quality of healthcare delivered in the country. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Adeloye.
What I would like to leave is that we should review the curriculum for medical education in Nigeria and integrate ICT into the training from the beginning, including from secondary school level before we get into university level. And concerning local content, it's important that we finance and encourage startups that have innovations in the medical space. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Moma.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I think NIDA should spearhead that charge to source data and map the ecosystem. And of course, NIDA can also create policies that will incentivize investors in that system as well. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, audience, and thank you, panelists. Good.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to recognize in our midst a former Director General of NITDA. He has been here with us, but he has chosen to quietly stay on his own. Please, let's put our hands together as Mr. Peter Jack rises for recognition. You are welcome, sir. We are happy to have you here in our midst. Thank you very much, sir, for your support. I have here with me a silver debit card that was picked from outside. I'm not going to mention the name of the bank. If it's yours, you come and tell me the name of the bank, and I will give it to you. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, lunch is served, but we have two halls. There is one for the VIP, the holding hall at the VIP just outside. It's on the right-hand side. If you have a VIP meal ticket, please, just outside at the holding hall, that's where your lunch is served. And then there is another service point just to my right. Thank you very much. We will be back. We'll have lunch for 30 minutes, and then